Okay, this video will be an example of using an array list and a series of menus to manage the inventory of a CarLot. So we've done a CarLot example in a previous week, where we're going to really add some features to it. So we're going to do this. So we've got a menu, 4 options: add a car, see the inventory, remove a car, search for a car, and quit. Okay, so we've got a main menu which has 5 options. Each one of these menus is going to call a sub method. We're going to, for add, see the inventory, and move car. Option 1, we're going to prompt the user to enter the make, model, and mileage of a car, so 3 elements, and we're going to store that data in a set of 3 parallel array lists. One will be string, make and model, or string, and mileage is an integer. And we'll do appropriate input validation, all of that. Option 2 is just going to give us a list of the CarLot inventory. Option 3 is going to use the list from option 2 as a submenu. So we're going to actually display a list of cars, and you're going to be able to pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the list, and then you're going to be able to remove inventory from the CarLot. We could also do one here for to change the mileage. So maybe we made a mistake. Once we've picked an option here, we might choose to remove it, but we could also use the set method on the array list and change the value. So option 4 is going to be, we're going to generate a running list of all the models. So maybe there's 10 Fords in our CarLot, and we want to just see a list of all the Fords. Then we'll use that to display the list of just the list of cars. Okay. All right. So let's get started. So we'll jump in, and I think the first thing we'll do is we'll just set up the menus a little bit, and that'll get us started. Okay. So I'm going to flip over here to Visual Studio. I already have my folder open. I have this CarLot folder. I'm going to go ahead and add a new Java program, carlot.java. This is going to be a fairly long video. So this example is complicated, the most complicated that we've done so far. So there's going to be a lot going on in this video. So make sure you watch the whole thing, rewind, watch parts of it again. Try to type along yourself and do some of this work, because this is going to be the most complicated example we have so far. Okay. Let's get my stuff set up here. Declare my method. I need a main. Okay. So what class? So I left the word class out. That's why I'm not getting the IntelliSense. Okay, so here we go. So spread that out just a little bit. So we know we're going to need a scanner, so let's just start with that. Okay, need to add the scanner on the import. Okay, and then we'll just go ahead and close that. Okay, we're also going to need a couple of parallel arrays. So we're going to use 3. So let's go ahead and define those. So the first one we're going to want is the make of the car. So Ford, Toyota, Hyundai, whatever. So let's go ahead and create an array list. I'm going to use the shortcut here, the implicit typing. I'm going to say var, we'll call it makes equals new array list of string. Okay. Now array list is highlighted in red because I need to do an include. Okay, so I have import java.util.ArrayList up here. Makes is highlighted in yellow because it says you've defined it, but you haven't used it for anything, but that's a rule right. I don't need that. I haven't finished yet. So let's do models equals new array list of string. And let's do mileage mileages equals new array list of integer. Okay, notice I'm using the wrapper class integer, not int. That's a requirement for the array list. You have to use the wrapper class. I'm also naming my variables as plurals, so makes, models, mileages. These are lists. Each variable contains multiple values, so I'm going to name it in the plural as I use it. And I'm going to have to pass all these things around to my methods. So let's go ahead and just start with the main menu. Okay, so we're going to do a keep going loop. Display a menu. We've done this before, so this should be familiar. Option 1, add a car to the lot. Okay. Let's put some wrapper text in here just to make it look pretty. Welcome to Neely Car Sales. Put a new line in there, just to space it out a little bit. Add a car to the lot to see the inventory. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and print out the number of cars we have. So printf, welcome to Neely Car Sales. We'll do a printf on this because we're going to print the value, the length of one of the car lists. So that's going to be a digit. There are this many cars on the lot. Okay. And then the replacement value for that will just be the size of one of these arrays. So doesn't matter though, since they're parallel, they all have the same number of values in it. So we'll just use makes.size. Okay, so that'll start at 0, and then as we add cars to the lot, that'll go up. So then we can see the inventory. I'm just going to cut and paste here. So option 3 is to remove a car. See option 4 to see all the cars of a specific model. See inventory for a specific model. Okay. And then option 5 is to quit. Then we do some input. Please make a selection. And then we'll do a print there. We'll put it at the end of the line there. And then so that when we type when we type a value, it'll be just at the end of the line here. Now we just need a scanner string option equals scanner.next line. I could use the type inference here too. I could say var option equals string on the next line, because next line returns a string, but it's going to infer that option is a string data type. So now I can do a switch on option, get my case 1, break, case 2, break. Just set this up. You can see how long this is getting. I mean, this is why I'm definitely going to want to do a different sub method for every of these options, because this is already a big long method. Long methods lead to errors. If you have a lot of code, it's harder to keep it. It's harder to keep it all indented properly. If you introduce an error very easily, so lots and lots of code in a single method leads to errors. Let's see. So case 5 is to quit. In this case, we're just going to say keep going equals false, and we're going to break. And then we're going to have a default that says that is not a valid option. Okay, and then we'll just display the menu again. Break. Okay, all right, so this should work. I'm going to come back in, and in each of these, I will put the actual method that I'm going to call. Let's go ahead and just run this, make sure that it works, because we've written a bunch of code. So we should have the menu working. It's not actually going to do anything, but we should at least see the menu here. I'm getting an error when I run this. So what did we do wrong? Oh, what we did wrong is we initialized keep going to false. So I want to keep going to true. So what happened to keep going for false? We never actually entered the while loop. So when I ran the program, it just did all the definitions and then ended. So that was just a logical error. Syntactically, it was correct, but I made a logical error. See, that's why we test code all the time. We want to run our code frequently to make sure that it works. Okay, so let's see. Oh, there we go. Now we got the menu. Looking at the car lot, there are zeros. There are 0 cars on the lot. I've got a little formatting error here. I need to put a new line at the end of this printf statement. Okay. See the inventory, select the car. Okay, so this looks pretty good. If I hit 1, it's not doing anything because I haven't coded those methods yet. If I hit 5, it quits. Okay. All right. So let's see. We can put a little note in here. Just a nice little closing line. Thank you for using the CarLot. Okay. Okay. All right. So that's that. So we can run that again, just make sure we didn't make any mistakes. We've got the formatting problem is fixed there. I still have not a valid option is working. Quit. Thank you for using CarLot. Please come again. Okay. All right. So now let's go ahead and do the add. So here, let's say, let's come here to option 1, and let's just say add car, and we're going to pass the scanner. We do need to make one modification here because we're going to operate on all of these on all of these array lists as throughout the whole program. It might make sense to declare them as class level variables, which is okay because this is going to be a program that is operating on a data structure, which is this list of 3 parallel array lists. And so every method we use is probably going to want to use that data. And so it's just going to be easier if we move these instead of declaring them inside the main method. Let's just declare them up here as a class. Also, when you are declaring something as a class, you cannot use the implicit type inference. Okay, so when I do this, every method in my program is going to have access to these variables. Okay, so when the program begins, it's going to declare these, and then every method is going to have access to them. So I don't have to declare them or pass them as parameters because they're class level variables. They're going to be defined there, and I'm going to need to make those static. This is going to be static because it's at the class level of static class. So in order to use them, I need to make them static as well. Okay. Add car scanner, and it's not compiling because I've declared this method, but I've called this method, but I haven't declared it yet. Okay, so let's go ahead and add that method, add car, public static. It's going to be a void. It's not going to return anything. Add car, and so far it takes one parameter, which is the scanner. Spell that correctly. Okay, that looks pretty good. Somehow I got an extra curly bracket in there. See how it's highlighted in red here? I think I just mistyped. I think that's good. Let's run that and see if it works. Okay. All right. So add the car list. Still nothing. I haven't actually implemented that. So it called the method, but there's nothing in the method. So all right. So now what I want to do is I want to prompt for 3 values. All right, so let's go ahead and prompt for we want the make. So let's say system.out.println. I'm going to write a method here. Well, I'm going to need a method to get a positive integer. I could write a method to get a string here too, but I'm just gonna type it out. System.out.println would prompt what do we want the user to do. New line. What is the make of the car? Let's just say instead of saying what is, let's say, please enter make of the car. And let's do that as a print so that we'll do that on the same line. And then we'll do a scanner bar make equals, I've missed something here. I missed the closing parenthesis or the closing quotes. Okay. Make equals scanner.next line. Okay, now we can just repeat that for the model. Just going to cut and paste to save myself a little time there. Please enter the model of the car. And we're going to call this bar model. Okay. Now we're going to need, we need our get positive integer method. So let's go ahead and write that. I'm going to have lots of method in this program, so I'm going to put them all in alphabetical order just to make it easy to find. So this is going to be public static. It's going to return an int. It's going to be called get positive integer. We've written this before, so we can go real quick here. It takes 2 parameters, the scanner and the prompt. If you have written this in a previous assignment, you could just cut and paste this in. I'm just going to write it because it's not going to be that long. So this is a while true loop. So we've written an input validation loop before. The pattern should be familiar to us. Start by displaying the prompt. Get the input. I'm going to do a try catch block. I'm going to try, my catch is going to be for number of format exception, and it'll have system.out.println. That is not valid. That is not a valid integer value. Okay, so then my try, I'm going to do a parse int value equals integer dot parse int prompt of input. I'm doing this fast because we've seen this before. At this point, I know that if the parse int works, I know I have a valid value. I just need to test to make sure it's positive. If value is greater than 0, then return value because that's valid. That's what we want. Else, display an error message. Please enter a positive integer value. Okay, that should do it. So now up here, we'll just do our var mileage equals get positive integer scanner, and then this prompt is going to be new line. Please enter the mileage of the car. Okay. So I could use a print here just to be consistent with all the others. So, okay, I don't think we need a new line on each of these. Let's go ahead and take that out. All right, so now let's run this because if we run this, we should get prompted for the 3 values. So let's do that just to test. Okay, so add a lot to the car. Please enter the make of the car. Toyota. These are the model Camry. This should have input validation. So if I enter invalid numbers, it says that's not a valid integer. If I enter negative, or if I enter a 0, okay, so if I enter, it's done. Okay, so now it didn't actually add the cars to our parallel array list because we haven't coded that yet, but we do know that our prompts are good and that our get positive integer is working, so I don't need to test those anymore, okay? But now let's come back up here to add car, and now that we have the 3 values, let's just add them to our array list. Makes.add make. Now remember, because these are one set of 3 parallel array lists, anytime I add to one, I have to add to the others as well. Models.add model mileages.add mileage. Okay. Now I've got that. So let's run it again. Add a car. Notice we have 0 cars on the lot. So if I do the add, please enter the make, Toyota Camry 12300. I now have 1 car on the lot. Okay, so I've added, so I've got data. I've added the data. I can go ahead and add another one. Ford F-150, 250,000 miles. Okay, 2 cars on the lot. See that? Okay, so that's working. So my add logic is working. I'm feeling pretty good. Okay, now let's keep going. So let's go back. The next thing we want to do is implement this option 2 to see the inventory. And then we'll do option 3 to remove a car, and then we'll do the option to see inventory for a specific model. Now, what's going to happen here is whenever I go to add to test this code before to see the inventory, I'm going to want to run that a bunch of times. Every time I do that, I'm going to have to add cars to the lot, which is going to be kind of a pain because it's going to be a lot of typing. It's going to slow me down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little cheat here. So I'm just going to add some methods. So I'm just going to say, I'm going to write a quick little value to say add test data. Okay. So I'm going to write a little module that's just going to populate some data in my array list set. Okay, this is just so every time my program starts, I'll have some default data, and I don't have to, and I'm not going to have to start from scratch every time. So let's add a couple of Fords. Let's add a couple of Toyotas. Let's add a Subaru. Okay, so now we have the models. So now I've added 6 cars here. So now we need to add 6 makes. Makes.add, we're going to have an F-150. I want 6 of those. And I could do these, one at a time. So maybe, instead of doing them all at once, maybe I do it like this. So that I'm adding each one in line there, and then I'll have mileages.add. And let's see, the F-150 is going to have 12,300 miles on it. So I could do this. That might make it stand out just a little more. Okay, so now maybe this is an F-150, but it's got 205,000 miles on it. Maybe this is going to be a Ford Focus, and it's got 150. That's a new one. And let's see, here's going to be RAV4, and it's going to have 26,000 miles on it. The data here doesn't really matter. It's just a matter of me getting it's a Camry, and it's going to have 35,678 miles on it. And here's the Subaru. This will be, what's a Subaru model? Forester. Is that how you spell it? I'm not even sure. Okay, so this has 56,780 miles. Okay, so now we've got 6 cars. If we did this right, let's run it. Oh, we've got a little public static. Oh, I missed the void on the definition. So now we run it. So see, now when we start, I've got 6 cars on the lot. So So I know my add inventory is working, and we'll continue to use that, but I don't want to have to manually type in a bunch of data every time I go to test seeing the inventory and all the rest of the options here. So I've done myself a favor with adding some test data to prime my data set a little bit, so that it's easier for me to use. Okay, I can still add a car here, so I can go ahead and add another one. Let's get Hyundai. How do you spell Hyundai? Hyundai. I don't even know what the Hyundai models are. I don't know. I don't know what the Hyundai models are. And then that's got 25,788. Okay, and then I have 7 cars. Okay, but now when I quit my program and start again, the Hyundai is going to be gone because it's not part of my test set. So I'm back to 6 cars. So any changes I make to this program, because I'm not using persistent data storage, is going to be lost every time the program ends. So again, all the more reason to use my test data. Okay, all right. So now we've got some test data. Let's go ahead and work on the displaying the to see the inventory. Okay, so let's use this to say display inventory. So we're going to write, this is an option 2. I don't know if we'll need the scanner. Let's leave it up for now. Let's go ahead and write display inventory. I'm going to put my methods in alphabetical order. So display inventory starts with a D. It goes right here. Public static void display inventory. No parameters yet. Okay, so this is going to be a for loop. So what I want to do is go through the set of parallel arrays and just display the inventory. I'm also going to use this as a submenu in other steps. And so I'm going to want to kind of decorate the output a little bit with some menu options. Okay, so let's get started. So the menu is going to look something. I want it to look something like this. I want it to say like inventory on the lot, and then it's going to be like 1 Ford F-150, 35,000 miles. I want it to kind of look like that, right? Okay, we get the idea, right? So, okay, so that's what I want it to look like. Now, notice I'm using 1 and 2 here. I'm gonna 1 and 2, 3, 4. These are going to be what the user will pick, but those are going to be offset by 1. So remember, Ford F-150, if it's the first car in the set, is going to be at index 0. So, but humans want to start at 1, so we're just going to have to know that we're ahead by 1 on our value there. Okay, so let's go ahead and write a for loop that does this. So let's use a for loop. We could use the enhanced for loop here, but because we're processing all 3 arrays, we need to know all 3 array lists. We need to know which element we're working on. So I'm going to use a for loop, a traditional for loop. For integer I equals 0, I'm going to start at 0. I is less than models.size. This is just like we did parallel arrays in the other example. And then it's going to be I++. Okay, that's a semicolon, not a comma. Okay, so now I have a for loop to go through. Now I can do my output. So my output is going to be system.printf. Okay, so now I'm going to have, I want the number. So this, I'm going to print I. So it's going to be a digit. I'm going to put a period. So that's going to be 1 like this. Okay, then I'm going to do a tab. Okay, and then is that the tab? I don't know if that's the tab. We'll find out. And then I'm going to print the, no, it's not a tab. I need to use the column width here. So I'm going to use the string notation for the column width. So I want percent. Let's just give it 15. And it's going to be a string. And then I'm going to get another one, which is %-15 string. And then the last one, which is going to be the integer value, which I'm going to want to have 1,000 separators. So that's going to be %-15, comma, D. Okay. let's see if that works. That looks kind of complicated. So the first one's going to be models.get at I. The next one is going to be makes.get at I. The next one's going to be mileages.get at I. Okay. System.out.printf. Okay. I don't know if that's right or not. We'll find out. Okay. Let's just run that and see. And then I want percent B, and then I want a new line at the end. Okay, so let's see if that works. I'd be surprised if I got that right on the first try. I don't have to add any cars because we've got my 6 test cars in there. So see the inventory. All right, I did something wrong. Unknown format conversion at I. So basically my says it's the error at the display inventory at line 89. My printf is all off. So what did I do wrong? So I got nothing. Percent. Oh, I very messed up on the very first one. So this is not percent I, this is percent D. And then I want to use I as the replacement. So I have 1, 2. So I've got replacement values 1 here, 2 there, 3 here, 4 here, and a new line. So then I have I, the model, the make, the mileage. All right, let's try it again. I knew I wasn't going to get that right on the first try. Okay, still an error. So conversion equals dash. Let's see. So I've done that column definition incorrectly. Okay, so the error is conversion. So something's off here with my columns. Let's try to make this a little simpler, because I think maybe I've just made it too complicated. I'm getting myself confused, trying to do too much at once. Okay, so let's do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to build it out one value at a time. So percent %D period should be an I. Okay, so now I should just get a list of the values. Okay, so let's see, let's run that. 2, okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's working. It's not formatted properly. I need a new line at the end. And I don't want 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to do I plus 1. Okay, let's run that again. You see how that test inventory is saving me that a lot of time. So, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I'm going to want to do some kind of heading here. Let's just put a stub in there for now. Heading. I'm going to come back and do something more meaningful in there. I'm just working on my formats here. Okay, run that again. Okay, so now let's do, so I've got the options. So now let's do period. So let's do percent -15s. So that should work. And I want the models makes.get at I. Okay, let's try to run that. Does that work? Okay, there we go. All right, so I think when I was before, I had too much data in there at once. I was just confusing myself. Okay, so now we've got the models. I want the models first, not the makes. Models. So then we can add the makes. It's going to be another percent -15s. And this will be makes.get at I. Okay, let's try that, run it. Okay, that's working. Okay, and then I want the mileage percent, and let's do this one. Want this one right adjusted, so we'll leave out the dash. So let's do 15, and we're going to want it's the 1,000 separator, comma D should do it. Okay, and then this is going to be mileages dot get at I. Okay, let's try that. Okay, I made an error there. Conversion equals 1. So I've got something's wrong in my percent 15I. Which is I'm doing wrong here. Okay, so I've got my column width is not lined up the way I want it. So I want it to line up on the right. So so I need the width in here. So if I put the width in, the width has to go after the comma. Okay, so now what I can do is let's run that. Okay, that's what I want. Okay, so I've got the make, the model, and the mileage. The mileage has the thousand separator and it's right justified. So let's look at those. So here's my first format specifier is just an integer, and that's going to be the I value 1, 2, 3, 4. The second one is the make. It's going to be a column of 15, left justified. That's what the dash means, left justified, column of 15, and it's going to be a string value. I have 2 of those. And then I'm going to have the digits value. This is a decimal, an integer. This is the mileage, and it's going to be thousand separator. It's going to be right justified because I've left off the dash in the column width. And I get a D, and then there's a new line at the end. Okay, so it looks like this. So that's what I want it to look like. Let's do a quick heading on that. So let's go ahead and try to space out the heading a little bit. So here, let's do this. Let's just do /n. We'll do a couple of spaces because that'll cover up our option 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then let's type make. We want to specify the columns here. -15 S space -15 S, and then space -15 S. So we're going to use the same column widths. The first column is going to be make. Second column is going to be model. Third column is going to be mileage. Okay, that's going to be a printf. And then there's a new line at the end. Oops, new line goes here. Okay, let's go ahead and run that, see if it works. Make model mileage. Let's see, that didn't work. %15S. Oops, I need a dash there because I want it to be left justified. See, model is right justified. I want it to be left justified. Mileage, I do want to be right justified. Okay, and then let's just put some dashes underneath that just to make it look like a menu. How many dashes do we need? I don't know. 15. That's like 45. So let's just do like 50. There's just 50 dashes. There is a shortcut where you could just do a repeat on that and specify length. The format is eluding me right at the moment. So let's see. All right, that looks fair. Let's add one more equal sign here at the end just to make that line up right. All right, let's call that good enough. Move on. Test it one more time. Okay, there's our menu. So now we have option 2 is done. We're displaying the list of the menus. So now I can go ahead and just get rid of my comments there because I don't need them anymore. Okay, done. So option 3, remove a car from the lot. So with this, what I want to do is I want to display the menu, only instead of just displaying it, now I want to prompt the user to pick a value. Okay, so let's go ahead and say option 3. remove car. And we'll pass the scanner. To find that, it goes in alphabetical order. D, G, it's going to be right here. Scanner. Okay. So now what we want to do is it's going to be a while true loop because we're gonna prompt you to we're gonna show you the list of cars and we're gonna let you pick one. Well, you can enter a 0 if you don't want to pick any. So this is an input loop. So let's do a while true. First thing we want to do is display the menu. Okay, so we can just use the same method we just wrote. Okay, now we're going to actually add a prompt that says system. What I want to prompt is I want a value. In this case, we have 6 cars, 1 through 6. I want a value of 0 through 6. 0 means that you don't want anything, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 means that you want a specific value. So now what I need here is I need a get positive integer, a get integer in range. Okay, so let's write that. Let's say int option equals get int in range. And the range is going to be, we're going to pass the scanner, we're going to pass the prompt is going to be, please select a car, 0 to return to main menu. Okay. And then the minimum value is going to be 0, and the maximum value is going to be the number of cars in the list plus 1, because I want, in this case, I have 6 cars, which are numbered 0 through 5, but I want to be able to enter 6. So it's going to be the size of the array list. So models dot size. It's not plus 1 here. It's just the size because there are 6 values there. Okay. All right. So now I have get in range. So now let me go ahead and write that. I'm just going to cut and paste my get positive int here. Get int in range would be before this one. We've written this one too in other examples. So get in range. I'll add 2 parameters. And then really all I want to do is I just want to change the value here. So value, I just want to change this if statement. If value is greater than min, greater than or equal to min, and value is less than or equal to max, then return otherwise. Please enter a positive integer value between %d and %d. And we'll convert this to a printf. Using %n for a new line. And this will be min max. So we've written that example in previous weeks, but this is the get in range. It's very similar to the get int, to the get positive int, only I just changed the value there. Okay. I changed the if statement. Okay, let's run that. Let's see. Is it ready to run? No, so I'm removing a car, option equals get in range. Let's go ahead and run that and make sure it works. So if I say remove a car from the lot, I should get the menu and then select a car to return. And here I won't take invalid integer if I enter -1, if I enter a 7. Okay, so enter 5. Okay. All right, so it doesn't do anything yet because I haven't coded the work, but I know my input is working. I made a spelling error here, so let's fix that. Let's see, selects. Okay. All right, so now I know once this is done, I have an option. The value of option is either going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what I want to do is I want to check for the 0. So if it's a 0, I just want to quit. Okay, if option equals 0, what that means is that the user said, I don't want to remove anything. So then I'm just going to return. Okay, so I'm done. I don't want to do anything. If it's not a 0, then that means I want to remove one. But remember, if I picked a 1 here, what I really want to remove is I want to remove that element 0. So I need to decrement my option by 1. So what I want to do here is I just want to use the remove statement. So models.remove, but it's not an option. It's going to be option -1. Okay, because remember, I want to, if I entered a 1, that really means I want to remove index 0. Okay, make.remove option -1. That's makes mileages.remove option -1. Okay, and then we could display a little note there. We could just say just a little confirmation. Car is removed. We could do that before. Why don't we print the now let's just do that. Car is removed. If we wanted to print like which car is removed, we would have to do that before we did the removes. Because once we do the removes, the data is gone. So we wouldn't be able to capture that. So, but let's not get too fancy. Let's just move on. Okay, so let's see if this works. All right, remove a car. So I've got 6 on the lot. Let's remove the Ford Focus, number 3. Okay. Remove number 3. All right, and it's done. Okay, now I'm still in the remove. So now I press 0. And I go back to the main menu. Okay, done. Okay, we're really moving through this. Okay, this is really easy. Okay. The last one is option 4, which is to see inventory for a specific model. So what I want to do there is I want to present a list. I want to say, look, I've got Ford, Toyota, Subaru in the inventory, and I want to and I just want to see the list of those. Okay. Now I'm not going to offer a remove for that, but I'm going to reuse my display inventory, and I need to create kind of an on-the-fly subset of the models or the makes, because I've got Ford, 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 Toyota, 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 but I want to present a menu option that just says one time Ford, Toyota, Subaru. So what I have to do is I have to go through this models array list, and I have to create a new array list of just the items that just the unique matches. Okay. All right, let's start by doing that. So option 4, search for model, search for make. We need the scanner. Okay, let's create that method. So we've called it. Now we're going to create the method. Starts with an S, PQRS. I have to remind myself of the alphabet. Public static void. Search for make. Take scanner. Okay. So what's the first thing we want to do? First thing is we need to create a list, a new array list of the unique makes. Okay, so let's create a new array list. Var unique equals new array list of string. Okay. Then we're going to go through the list of makes, and we're going to pull out a unique list. So the way we do that is we'll use the enhanced for loop for string. Sorry, we're going through the makes. Yeah, string make and makes. We're going to test if uniques dot contains the make, then we've already found it and we don't want to add it. So we want a not here. So if we're going to use the exclamation point, that means if uniques does not contain make, because I'm using the exclamation point. If it does not contain it, then I want to add it. Uniques dot add make. Okay. Now I've got the list. Let's just print that out real quick to see if we got something that worked. Let's just print uniques. Okay. Let's see what that does. What this should be is just a short list of just the unique makes. Okay, F-150. Let's see. Oh, it should be model. I used model wrong. Let's see. Unique model makes um one of the models, not the makes. So let's see. So search for this should really be search for model. I got the things mixed up. I don't want F-150. I want Ford, Toyota, etc. So let me just change this. I've been doing this a long time, writing code, and I still make mistakes. Let's see, search for model. Also, we changed the name of that, so we need to come back up here to the top and search for model because I changed the name of that code. Okay. All right, so let's try that again. Now I should get a list of four Toyota Subaru. Okay, so that's good. That's what I want. So now I want to turn this array list into a menu. Okay, so now let's do a little heading. System.out.println. Um, makes a model. No, it's makes. I've reversed those two, haven't I? I have. So I've gotten the context of make and model backwards in my whole program. All right, we're just going to keep going with it. So uh, um, um, models available. Okay, and then let's say, and then we're going to do a for loop for int I equals 0, I less than uniques dot size, I plus plus. This is just like the last menu we did, only we're using a different array list. Print it out. Okay, system.out.println. This one's going to, or printf, this one's going to be easier because it's just two values. So first one is going to be the index. The next line is going to be the model. And I don't need a column with here because there's only one column. This is going to be I plus 1. And it's going to be uniques dot get at I. Okay. And then we'll do, let's run that, make sure it works. For okay, I missed some new lines here. I got to spread that out a little bit. So let's do a new line there. I need a %n at the end of my. Okay, that's good. Forward to a super. Okay, so now I want to prompt you to pick one. System.out.println. Actually, I can just use the get. I need the get. I can use the get integer and range because I want a range between. I want a number 0, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3 actually, because I don't have a 0 exit here. So we're going to say int option equals get int and range. The prompt is going to be which model you want to see. And then the minimum is going to be 1. And the let's see, this is 0 and the maximum. Well, the maximum is going to be the length of the list. So so the minimum is going to be 1, and the maximum is going to be the uniques dot size. Okay, so let's create an issue here because if my list is empty, then this isn't going to work. So we'll come back and address that later. Okay, so now that I have that, what I want to do now is I want to display the list of cars, but I already have a display option. display inventory, but the display inventory displays all the inventory. So what I can do is I can just add a parameter to the match to match it, and then also add some logic. So I'm just going to say display inventory, but I'm going to add a parameter here of uniques dot get option -1. Okay. Now I'm getting an error here because I don't have a display inventory with one parameter. And so what this is a string parameter. So now what I want to do is I want to come back to display inventory, and I want to just add a string parameter there that says string match only models. Let's just call it match. Okay. Now this creates other errors. Notice that the name of my file is turned red, and I've got these little red links over here. That's because all the other places I'm calling display inventory, I need to add that parameter. So here I'm just going to add an empty string. And here I've left out a parenthesis. Okay. So now let's just run this to make sure that my display is still working. So see the inventory. Okay. Pick which model you want to see. 2. Okay. All right. So so this is still working. I need to actually implement the match logic now. Okay. So let's see. So in my model's available. Which one you want to see? So now in my display inventory, I actually need to do a match. Now notice here I'm passing an actual value. In other places, I'm just passing an empty string. Okay. So what I want here is in display inventory, I just want to add an if statement. So here I'm going to do my match here, and I'm just going to say if I'm just going to say if match dot is empty, or match dot equals ignore case models dot get at I. Okay. So if it's that, then I want to display it. Otherwise, I don't. Okay. Now this is going to have a side effect of my numbering is going to be off a little bit because my numbering is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I don't display them all, my numbers are still going to increment. Okay, but we'll live with that. So here we have match dot is empty. This means if there's nothing, if I didn't pass a match value, if there's nothing to match, then display it, or if the match equals the model number, then display it. Okay. So this basically means if I pass an empty string, display all of them. If I pass something specific, then only display the ones that match. Okay, let's see if it works. Search for an inventory. I want to see all the Fords. Okay, look at that. Search for the inventory. I want to see the Subarus. See, this is what I'm talking about. My numbering's a little off there, but I can live with that. Okay, let's go ahead and add another one. Let's add another Subaru. It's another Forester, and it's got 100,000 miles. Let's add another car. Let's add a Kia Sorento. Is that a Kia? And it's got 23. It's got that many miles on it. Okay. Then we have 8 models on the car. So if we see the inventory, we've got whoops, I went backwards. I typed it in wrong. Okay, let's start over. So we get that right. Okay, so let's go ahead and add a car. You know, the make of the car, Forester, Subaru. Let's add another make of the car is going to be Kia. Oops, that's wrong. Let's just do that. Kia. 100,000 miles. All right, see the inventory. So see, we got, since we added another type of car, a Kia, my list of uniques has gotten bigger. So now if I see option 4, I'll see the Kia. And I added a second Subaru as well, so I could get that list. Okay. All right. I think that's it. I think we did all the assignment. So we can end that. So now we see it's a pretty long program. 161 lines, but notice that none of my methods are very big. I mean, so the main method is the biggest one. But most of my methods are pretty small. This add test data, I could leave that, I could take it out. I'm going to leave it because it's convenient. So although note that I did accidentally models and makes here are backwards. So the make is Toyota, the model is RAV4, but I consistently mess that up through the whole program. So just be aware of that. But I could go back and change it, but it would require me to modify the whole program. Yeah. All right. So if I was turning this into to my team and we were going to keep this program for a long time, I would probably go back and fix that. But I'm not going to do that in this example. Okay. So I'll post this to Canvas so you can look at the details. And this should help you a lot with your homework for this week. And if you have any questions, let me know.